Ella.
As we walk back to the car, the weight of the new revelation sinks in. You were almost married off to Diego, Roman says, his voice bordering on fury, knowing I would have been someone else's. That fucker Leonardo truly is a snake, no offense, baby. I shake my head. And Lily. I can't believe this is happening to her. I murmur. We'll fix it. Roman promises, his grip tightening around mine. I'll see if I can get her out of there. Fuck knows what she's been through. The moment we're sealed inside the Escalade, I can feel the tension rise like steam from a boiling pot. Roman jams the key into the ignition, turning it so violently it's a wonder the car starts at all. The engine roars to life, but instead of shifting into gear, Roman swivels his head to fix Caden with an incredulous glare. The tension is palpable, you could cut it with a knife. What the actual fuck, Caden? You offer yourself up for marriage like it's some sort of goddamn business deal? You could have at least had the decency to run it by me. Roman's voice is a harsh rasp that echoes in the car's confines. You didn't think that warranted a brotherly heads-up or something? Caden, poised as ever, doesn't flinch at his brother's verbal onslaught. We're on the verge of war, Roman. Drastic times call for drastic measures. I don't require your approval to make a decision for the good of the pack. Drastic measures my ass. You're talking about chaining yourself to a woman for life. Good of the pack? Roman scoffs, his knuckles widening around the wheel. I'm your fucking alpha. We talk about this first before you just agree to sacrifice yourself. Roman, calm down. Caden has a point. I interject, risking a glance between the two men. Strategic alliances are crucial right now. Yeah, but there's strategy, and then there's fucking lunacy. This is the latter. Roman retorts, his gaze flicking briefly to meet mine before fixing back on Caden. Sometimes quick decisions have to be made. It's not a slight against you, it's an action for the betterment of our pack, Caden says calmly, not allowing the heat in Roman's voice to penetrate his composure. Betterment? What a load of shit. You make it sound like you bought a luxury car, not agreeing to marry someone for political gain. God damn it, Caden. Roman's voice hits a crescendo, and he slams his palm against the steering wheel for emphasis. Caden sighs, leaning back in his seat. I'm your older brother and your beta. My primary duty is the security of our family and our pack. Sometimes that means making difficult decisions without the luxury of committee discussions. You, of all people, should understand. Your marriage to Ella was arranged, too. It's how we strengthen alliances. Committee discussions? For fuck's sake, Caden, we're talking about marriage here. We arranged my marriage to Ella, sure, but we had time to get to know each other, to build something. You're diving headfirst into this shit without even checking how deep the water is, Roman retorts, his voice finally dropping a notch, although the disbelief is still etched into every word. Caden sighs. Duty outweighs need, Ro, as you very well know this. We don't always get the luxury of courting and compatibility. Our ancestors made alliances through marriage all the time, it's a tried-and-true strategy. A tried-and-true strategy for turning your life into a shit show, you mean? You're gonna be stuck with her. Are you okay with that? If it strengthens our pack, fortifies our alliances, and ensures the safety of our family, then yes, I'll be stuck with her, as you so eloquently put it. Caden fixes his eyes on Roman, the depth of his resolve apparent. Caden takes a deep breath. Roman, this is about securing our future. We're on shaky ground, and we need strong alliances. Strong alliances? Is that what you're calling a shotgun wedding now? Roman interrupts, cutting him off. The alliances are not just military, they're social, they're familial. And as for love or whatever you're angling at, it's a luxury we can't currently afford, Caden explains, unfazed by Roman's aggression. Jesus Christ, Caden. You're so damn rational, it pisses me off. Roman grumbles, finally putting the car into gear and pulling out of the parking lot. Well, someone has to be, Caden replies coolly. Roman stares at his older brother, his face going red. Finally, he mutters. So what now? Should I start auctioning off other family members? Maybe promise Sylvia's sister to some neighboring Alpha's bratty kid? Caden's face remains impassive. If it strengthens our pack, and it makes strategic sense? Yes, Caden replies, not missing a beat. Roman stares at his older brother, momentarily speechless. Oh my fucking gods. He mutters, rubbing his forehead in disbelief. You're my brother, but sometimes you scare the shit out of me. Goddamn, you're ice cold. It's not about being cold, it's about doing what's necessary. Caden softens slightly, looking at Roman with a more vulnerable expression. Leadership often requires uncomfortable decisions. I stand by mine. Roman lets out a long breath, the reality of the situation sinking in. You better be sure, Cade. You're not the only one who'll have to live with the consequences, brother, Roman grumbles, finally letting the Escalade roll forward as he puts it into drive. Caden nods. Understood. It's a responsibility I'm willing to take. We drive in charged silence, each absorbed in personal turmoil. I'm wedged physically and emotionally between two brothers at odds, each fighting for what they believe is best for their pack, their family. Listen. I finally break the silence. Both of you have valid points. Roman, your hot-headedness is justified. Love should factor into lifelong commitments, but Caden, you're not wrong either. We're in dire straits, and your willingness to make personal sacrifices for the sake of the pack is admirable. Admirable? Or stupid? Roman mutters, glaring at the road ahead. Perhaps a bit of both. Caden concedes with a half-smile. Roman sighs, his fingers loosening around the wheel. Fine, whatever. It's done. But don't expect me to throw you a fucking bachelor party. Caden chuckles. Wasn't counting on it. As the city lights pass by in a neon blur, I find myself contemplating the complex landscape of leadership, love, and familial bonds. The tension still hangs thick in the air, yet there's also a newfound sense of mutual, albeit grudging, respect. Despite their differences, both brothers are bound by a common goal, ensuring the well-being of their pack, whatever the cost may be. Roman finally breaks the quiet, his voice tinged with a bitter humor. Hope you're ready for flower arrangements and cake tastings, you matrimonial genius. Caden smiles weakly, acknowledging the quip. If it brings our pack safety and stability, I'll be the first to RSVP. As the Escalade speeds down the highway, the skyline blurring past, it's clear that both men are wrestling with the situation, each in his own way. Caden may be the calculated strategist, but Roman's fire and passion are equally necessary elements in the crucible of their leadership. While the two brothers might clash in their methods, their shared goal remains unshaken, the survival and success of their pack at any cost.
Ella.
I have a date tonight with Roman and I'm feeling extremely anxious about it. He said that he never gets to spoil me, so here I am, nervous as he opens the Maserati's door for me. I'm still trying to catch my breath as I slide into the plush leather seat of his car. My Alpha is a striking figure beside me, his blonde hair falling rebelliously over his forehead in that Roman way, catching the dim light of the car's interior. His green eyes meet mine for a moment, sparkling like emeralds, and my heart does a little flip. He looks impeccable in that fitted suit, every inch the powerful, confident Alpha he is. Is this what I have to look forward to? You stealing all my attention by looking this drop-dead gorgeous? Roman grins, starting the car with a soft roar that vibrates through the chassis. I chuckle, touched by his compliment. And here I thought I was the lucky one, being chauffeured by a man as handsome as you. Ah, flattery. He smirks, expertly maneuvering the car onto the road. Gets you everywhere, doesn't it? With you, it's just stating the obvious. I reply, throwing him a sidelong glance. I mean it, too. There's something about Roman, his posture, his voice, the way he looks at me, that makes me feel like the most important person in the world. Thank you, he says, the corner of his mouth lifting into a genuine smile. My heart swells at his words, at the sincerity behind them. He's never thanked me for a compliment before, and right now he looks so adorable and coy. For a moment, everything feels right, as if the unsteady balance we've been maintaining is finally settling into something more stable. Did you know? He starts, his eyes still fixed on the road but somehow making me feel like I'm the center of his world, that in Italy, they say ti amo only in very special, intimate settings? I can't help but smile. Is that so? And why are you bringing this up now? Well, we are going to an Italian restaurant. I'm just laying the groundwork for an incredibly romantic, culturally enlightening evening, he says, casting me a playful grin. I laugh, my nerves evaporating in the warmth of his humor. You really know how to set the stage, don't you? It's all part of the Alpha package, he winks, effortlessly steering the car into a turn as we approach our destination. I aim to impress. We drive in comfortable silence the rest of the way, a convoy of cars following us. It's not every day the Alpha and Luna go out on a date. I'm actually quite nervous. The last time Roman took me out, he was pretending to be Jay. Gods, that feels like a lifetime ago. Finally, Roman pulls the Maserati into the parking lot of an Italian restaurant that oozes authenticity, from the warm, muted colors of its facade to the faint smell of garlic and basil wafting out. As we step inside, it's like entering another world. Rich, dark wood complements walls painted in shades of warm cream and gold. The lighting is low and intimate, casting a soft glow over the eclectic assortment of vintage Italian art and photographs. Waiters in crisp white shirts and black vests move between the tables, balancing trays laden with plates of sumptuous food and bottles of wine. Soft Italian music fills the air, and I can't help but feel transported. Roman pulls out a chair for me, and I'm struck by how different this is from our past hidden interactions. Gone are the deceit and the masks, tonight it's just Roman and Ella. Candles flicker on the table, casting a warm glow that makes the fine silverware and white china sparkle. The ambience is already so romantic that I can't help but feel a bit enchanted, as if we've stepped into some sort of fairy tale setting. He looks at the menu, and every time he glances up at me, I see a look of unmistakable love in his eyes. It's as if every gaze is imbued with his feelings, subtle but present, like the fine gold leaf that adds just a touch of luxury to an already exquisite dish. So, what are you thinking of ordering? I ask, a bit bashful under his continual loving gaze. My eyes flit across the menu, which is written in both Italian and English, filled with tempting descriptions of risottos, pastas, and decadent desserts. But they seem to frown upon that here, he says in a low, teasing tone. His eyes meet mine, and I can see the affection mingling with mischief. I burst into laughter, captivated by his cheeky humor. Well, we wouldn't want to scandalize the other diners, would we? Oh, I would do so much more than scandalize them, little bird, he says, his eyes soften and becoming a sea of emotion that I find myself drowning in. Roman leans forward, his elbows on the table, and I feel a magnetic pull between us that I can't ignore. His eyes, those stunning emerald windows to his soul, are fixed on me with an intensity that is simultaneously thrilling and comforting. He reaches over and takes my hand, drawing my fingers to his lips and kissing them, leaving me momentarily speechless. So many choices, I clear my throat and murmur, scanning the menu while acutely aware of his gaze. It's hard to decide. Take your time. Roman replies softly, setting down his own menu. We have all night. The way he says it, so full of promise and quiet affection, brings a warmth to my cheeks. Isn't it hard for an alpha to wait? I tease lightly, finally closing the menu. For some things, perhaps. He leans in, his voice dropping to an intimate tone. But for you, I'd wait a lifetime. My heart warms at his words, feeling his love for me right through everything he does. It honestly makes me forget about the whole world and every bad thing that has happened. If only I could stay in this cocoon forever. Towards the end of the meal, he looks into my eyes, taking my hand. Would you like to dance? The question takes me by surprise, but the earnest look in his eyes convinces me. I nod, and he leads me to an area set aside for dancing. The soft notes of a violin fill the room as Roman wraps his arms around me. He stands and offers me his hand. The few steps we take away from our table feels like we're stepping into a world of our own making. Then he wraps his arms around me, pulling me close, and I rest my head on his shoulder. We sway to the rhythm, and in that moment, all the sounds of the restaurant, the clinking of dishes, the murmur of conversation, fade away until it's just the two of us and the music. Roman's scent keeps me grounded, that familiar forest floor scent that feels like home. You know, Roman whispers, his lips grazing my ear. I always dreamed of dancing like this with you. I pull back just slightly to look at him. You dreamed of dancing in a restaurant after stuffing ourselves with pasta and dessert? He chuckles softly. Well, when you put it that way. But yes, Ella. I've dreamed of any moment where you're in my arms, laughing, feeling free. The honesty in his words, combined with the warmth in his gaze, fills me with overwhelming emotions. Then I feel it, a feeling similar to an electric current snapping between us, and I feel physically drawn to him, even more so than usual. Roman gently tilts my chin upward, his eyes searching mine. His lips curve into that endearing smile that first caught my attention, and I realize that he's been holding back, that he's asking for permission, not through words, but through the soft question in his eyes. My heart pounds in my chest, but it's a rhythm of anticipation, not fear. He leans in slowly, giving me time to pull away, but I don't want to. Our lips meet in a tender, almost reverent kiss. And the most amazing thing happens, there's no nausea, no flashbacks. In that moment, I feel completely safe, fully trusting Roman with the vulnerability I've been so hesitant to show. His lips are a familiar terrain I know well, and I sigh as I give in to the normality of this. Just two people who love each other completely. As we pull away from each other, he searches my face, as if to make sure he hasn't overstepped. I can only smile, letting that simple curve of my lips serve as my answer. I should have done this a long time ago. Roman murmurs, almost to himself. I smile softly, tracing a finger down his cheek. It's never too late to start. He grins, clearly relieved. In that case, may this be the first of many new beginnings. As we sway to the rhythm of the music, I lay my head back down on his shoulder, feeling completely in the moment, two souls completely lost in a beautiful melody, wrapped in the comforting embrace of love. I love you, little bird, he says, his voice so filled with emotion, as if those 3 words were an entire universe in themselves. I love you too, Roman. I reply, feeling the weight and the beauty of my own truth. This man has truly come to mean so much to me, and I wouldn't have it any other way. As we return to our table, Roman reaches for my hand, gripping it tightly as though he never plans to let go. And for the first time in what feels like forever, I let myself believe in a future where he won't have to.
Ella.
2 weeks have passed since the meeting, and Roman's presence had been more contemplative, as if he were turning over a complex puzzle in his mind. We're expecting Alphanovel and his sister Elena, Caden's potential future wife. They're visiting our territory, a return gesture of respect that Roman showed him. Elena was as much a mystery to us as a locked book. Today, that book would be opened, and we'd all take our first look. I know the fact that the meeting is here gives Roman a sense of control that he finds absent when dealing with unpredictable variables. The room is elegantly decorated, from the crystal chandeliers to the embroidered tablecloth. This may be a meeting of alphas, but it's also a show of power and tradition. The air smells of aged wood and subtle lavender, a scent designed to put anyone at ease. Still, Roman looks like he's preparing for battle, his jaw set, eyes like a hawk. Caden, too, stands tall and imposing, yet there's an underlying spark of excitement in his eyes. Roman's grip tightens on my hand as a sleek black limousine pulls into the clearing. When Javier emerges from the car, his eyes lock onto Roman's. It is a brief moment, a tiny eternity of measuring and weighing. Elena follows, and I find myself holding my breath. She's striking, with long, dark hair and eyes that mirror the shade of her brother's. Her elegance is understated, and she radiates a kind of serenity that instantly puts me at ease. But there's also a timidity to her, a sense of reserved grace. She's wearing a modest white dress that complements her beautifully. Her presence fills the space with a scent of jasmine, simple yet alluring. Javier exchanges a brief, firm handshake with Roman and a nod toward Caden. Then the brothers turn toward Elena. Caden's eyes lock on hers. It's not love at first sight, but there's a mutual appraisal, a silent understanding. Javier is the first to speak, stepping forward with a measured grace. Alpha Roman, it's good to see you again. And you, Aela, he said, offering a nod of acknowledgement toward me. Welcome, Alpha Javier, Elena, Roman returned the greeting, his voice laced with a diplomatic caution. Please, let's continue inside. Javier gives a nod. Once inside, we gather in the sitting room. Plush armchairs were arranged in a semicircle, designed for discussions that had the luxury of time but required the intimacy of close proximity. Elena and I have discussed the proposition at length, Javier starts when we're seated. She's aware of the stakes and is agreeable to a courtship, with the potential for marriage, provided all parties involved are satisfied. Elena speaks up, her voice soft yet steady. I believe in the importance of an alliance between our packs. However, I appreciate the understanding that my consent is essential. Caden smiles. Your consent is not only essential, it's the foundation upon which this potential alliance rests. I wouldn't have it any other way. Caden nodded, acknowledging her words. We're joining forces to fight a common enemy, but that doesn't mean we can't offer each other happiness along the way. Very well. We accept this union as the foundation for our alliance, Roman continues. Now, we need to focus on the real issue at hand, Vasily. Ah, Vasily, Javier sighs, as if mentioning an annoying insect that had eluded a swatter. He's clever and manipulative. His reach is farther than we'd like to admit. We need a plan, Roman says, leaning forward, one that capitalizes on the element of surprise. That's why we've decided to use the celebration of Caden and Elena's engagement as a lure, Javier proposes. It's the perfect ruse. Vasily wouldn't miss an opportunity to disrupt such an event, especially one that fortifies an alliance against him. And when he comes, we'll be ready, Roman adds, his voice a low growl of determination. My brother's reign of terror has gone on long enough. The atmosphere in the room is heavy with the weight of the serious topic that we are discussing, but at the same time, it is filled with the potential for what this alliance could bring to all of us. It's not just about fighting off Vasily anymore, it's about building a future. Javier leans forward. Let's discuss the celebration that we've planned to lure Vasily out into the open. The reception could serve as the perfect setting. It would look less suspicious than a sudden gathering of alphas. Agreed, Roman chimes in. It might just be crazy enough to work. Javier continues, my resources indicate that Vasily has been growing restless and may act impulsively, especially if he sees an opportunity for power. A wedding among two significant packs might be too tempting for him to ignore. You make a compelling point, Roman admits. But it's crucial we don't underestimate him. We won't, Javier assures. A silence settles over the room, but it's Caden who breaks it. For this plan to work, we'll all need to play our parts convincingly, he starts. Vasily is no fool. One wrong move could jeopardize everything. You're right, which is why every precaution must be taken, every detail perfected. We're two powerful packs, everything will be sorted out to the T, Roman squeezes my hand. We have a celebration to plan, an alliance to cement, and an enemy to eliminate. Caden lifted his eyes to meet Roman's. To new beginnings, he said. To survival, Javier counters. And to the triumph that comes with it. The clinking of glasses reverberates in the room, an audible manifestation of our entangled fates. Roman catches my eye and smiles, but it doesn't reach his eyes. I know my husband too well, he's still not fully comfortable with this situation. I can't help but feel that Caden's new beginning seems more like the end of something for Elena. Her eyes briefly meet mine, and in that split second, I catch a flicker of something that looks a lot like resignation. Curiosity piqued, I decided to act. Would you excuse us, gentlemen? I rise from my seat, gesturing to Elena. I'd like to have a word with Elena. Roman looks at me, a hint of surprise flickering in his eyes. But he nods, trusting my judgment. Of course. As we step out of the study and into the adjoining room, I'm acutely aware that Elena and I are in similar yet fundamentally different positions. I guide her to a sitting area overlooking the garden. The vibrant colors of late afternoon filter through the tall windows, casting elongated shadows on the floor. Your home is beautiful, Elena says softly, taking a seat. Thank you. So, you're stepping into a new world, I begin, trying to keep my tone light. How are you feeling? Elena hesitates before answering, her eyes searching mine as if measuring the risk of honesty. Nervous, of course. But it's a good match, strategically. I understand the importance. Do you always talk in terms of strategy? I probe, trying not to sound confrontational. Her lips twitch into a sad smile. In this life, sometimes that's all we have. What about you, Ella? Was it love or strategy that brought you to Roman? A bit of both, I admit. But even in the world we live in, should we completely abandon the idea that love could be a factor? Elena nods, her eyes wandering to the garden. I always dreamed of having a garden, she says. When I was a little girl, I would spend hours sketching out how I'd want it to look, what flowers would bloom in each season. The wistfulness in her voice catches me. That sounds lovely, Elena. There's still time to have that garden. She smiles, but it's tinged with sadness. I think some dreams have to be sacrificed for greater good, don't you? I feel a knot tighten in my stomach. You're talking about the marriage. Yes. I understand its importance, I know it's for the benefit of the Pax. But... She hesitates. But life has a way of setting other priorities for you. I see it then, the suppressed dreams clouding her eyes, the desire she's shelved to meet expectations, to fulfill obligations. It's a narrative that's all too familiar in our world. Elena, even within the framework of duty, there's room to be yourself. You should never have to give up on who you are. I say, offering her a smile. I also don't think Caden will expect you to do that either. She looks at me, her eyes searching. And what if who you are conflicts with what's expected of you? I think of Roman and how our love had blossomed in the crosshairs of duty and expectation. Then you find a way to integrate the two, to bring your whole self into what you do and who you are meant to be with. It's the only way to live authentically, to love authentically. Elena smiles, a real smile this time, and it lights up her face. You're very wise, Ella. I've had a good teacher, I say, thinking of Roman. You know, love isn't something that happens at first sight. Sometimes, it grows from shared purpose, from respect, from understanding someone else's soul. She shrugs, her shoulders rising and falling like a delicate sigh. I had dreams, you know. I wanted to travel, see the world outside of pack politics. Maybe study art history. Silly things. They're not silly, I insist. Dreams are the things that make us human, or werewolf, as the case may be. Elena chuckles, but it's a joyless sound. Those dreams will remain dreams. Once I marry Caden, my life will be dictated by my duties as his bride. Art history and backpacking through Europe won't exactly fit into that schedule. My heart sinks at her words. Here is a woman sacrificing her personal desires, her dreams, for the good of the pack, something that I can't help but resonate with, albeit in a different context. What do you think about Caden? I ask. He seems like a good man, but... Her voice trails off, leaving the unsaid hanging heavily in the air between us. But you don't love him, I finish for her. No. And I don't think I ever will, she admits softly. I'm struck by the enormity of her sacrifice, and a surge of empathy courses through me. I reach over and squeeze her hand reassuringly. Elena, I know exactly what you're going through. My marriage to Roman was arranged as well, and I decided I'd rather run away than be married, that I'd rather be free than be dutiful ever again. Her eyes widen. You ran away? From Roman Nikolaev? I chuckle at the way she says his name. I did, yes, but he found me soon enough. It wasn't what either of us planned, but I can tell you this, life has a funny way of surprising us. Don't lock away your dreams just yet. A strategic alliance may be the reason for this marriage, but it doesn't have to be the thing that defines it, or you. She looks at me, her eyes brightening just a tad. Thank you, Ella. That's comforting to hear. After a few more minutes of chatting, we make our way back to the study. I feel like Elena and I have crossed an invisible threshold, a point of understanding that neither of us had expected. I was in the exact same position as her and I ran, but this huge alliance depends on her wedding. The men look up as we enter, and Caden's eyes meet Elena's. There's a moment of quiet recognition, and I see a flicker of hope in Elena's eyes that mirrors my own. When I retake my seat next to Roman, I can't help but wonder what the future holds for Elena. It's a marriage of strategy, sure, but could it be something more? And what does it mean for our own alliance? Will it bolster our strength, or simply add another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation? Roman leans in, his lips brushing my ear. Everything okay? I nod, but my gaze lingers on Elena and Caden. They're talking now, their expression serious, but not unkind. Yeah, I reply softly. I think we're about to find out. I watch as Caden and Elena share a small, seemingly genuine smile. Maybe, just maybe, that's enough to build on. And in our world, where alliances can mean the difference between survival and ruin, perhaps that small connection is the most strategic move of all. Javier and Elena take their leave soon after, but their presence lingers, a haunting reminder of the promises made and the battles that lie ahead. Roman wraps his arm around me as we watch their car pull away. You think this will work? I ask, the night air cold around us. It has to, he whispers, almost to himself. I see Caden standing alone in the doorway, looking thoughtful. This alliance, if it comes to fruition, will change everything for him. It's a strange feeling, this mix of trepidation and promise, as if we're standing on the edge of a precipice. But for the first time in weeks, the future doesn't seem quite so dark, and the weight of it all feels just a little bit lighter on our shoulders.